Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Biden and Obama and a star studded event put on by the U.S. government, the president of Kenya, the future, and just kind of go over a few things, including some that is a little funny. We'll talk about an error and we'll get some insight. Okay, so the U.S. short version put on a star studded event, rolled out the red carpet for the president of Kenya, getting just an overwhelming event. And it wasn't without reason. There was a purpose behind it. We will start with one of the funny events for the younger people watching this right now. Have to explain something that's going to sound really weird. So when Obama was in office, the Republicans kind of put it out there that he was Kenyan. That happened. It was a lot like the claims about the election of today. It was something that they strung along, put out there, lots of innuendo, to sway the most easily manipulated of their base. With Obama at this event for the president of Kenya, it was implied that the reason he was there is because he was Kenyan, which I personally found hilarious. But that's not what it was about. It's about foreign policy. One thing to note that's important, because people are going to ask why, it's not just this, but to show the relationship that exists between the U.S. and Kenya. Kenya will be putting up the troops for Haiti. That's what it looks like right now. And to the people in Kenya who might be watching, thanks. Because you did everybody a solid with that one. We didn't want to go, and they didn't want us there. But the event wasn't just about that. During this event, closening the ties between the two countries, Kenya was designated a major non-NATO ally. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the first sub-Saharan nation to get that designation. What does it mean? Does it mean that the two countries have to defend each other or anything like that? No. It doesn't. It's not a real defense pact like NATO. It's also not symbolic either. The military in Kenya, they will be able to get more modern stuff, more technologically advanced stuff than other players. There will be trade benefits. That's what it's about. It's about strengthening those ties. This is the beginning of the U.S. kind of positioning to say, hey, Kenya could be Saudi Arabia. They could be that regional ally. We have talked about it for a very long time on the channel. The idea, long-term strategy of the U.S. to deprioritize the Middle East and focus more on Africa. All the stuff that we have talked about has been very low-key stuff, very in the background, stuff that if it's reported on, it's on page 9. This is front page news. Countries in the Middle East with outstanding issues, they probably want to pay attention to this. So, it is deepening those ties, bringing the two countries together in hopes that Kenya becomes a regional player that is closely aligned with the United States. That's what it's about. It does signal with how public this was being front page news, that the U.S. is ready to start doing that a little bit more prominently. Okay, so let's get to the error. The Speaker of the House did not invite the President of Kenya to speak to Congress. That should have happened. That should have happened. Is it a huge deal? No. There's not even a guarantee that the Kenyan president would have accepted. But the invitation should have been extended. That was just a completely unforced error. With the U.S. putting on the show that it was, that should have been part of it. It really should have. But it's not a huge error, but it's one that's definitely going to be noticed. So that's what's going on. And the show that was put on, this red carpet event, this is a signal that the U.S. is definitely pursuing that course and is going to start doing it way more publicly than before. Because of this, just go ahead and get ready for it, because as the U.S. starts partnering with nations in Africa, just be ready for all the racism to come out, because it's going to. There are a lot of people that do not understand the significance of Africa as a whole and the power of some of these countries, and the racism is just going to be huge in the beginning. It's going to be massive. So just be ready for that. But I think one of the other big pieces here is that the U.S. is starting this openly now. It's definitely more prominent than before. It is probably a clear indication that that strategy of deprioritizing the Middle East is underway, which means there are a lot of countries in the Middle East that have for a long time relied on the United States. I'm going to say that the clock just started on how long that support's going to exist in the way it has in the past. So, anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.